And we're live. It's Whiskey Watches the Wheels, and we are a man down tonight, but I got two of the best guys around. Gentlemen, introduce yourselves.
Casey.
I'm Kevin.
And I am Matt. James is not with us tonight. God rest his soul. Not sure where he is. Hopefully he makes it. You never know, man. You never know, man. Crazier things. It's the end of days, man. We got a Thanksgiving hurricane heading our way. Who knows what's going on?
Do you really?
We do. Kevin, have you not watched the news? There is a hurricane, the latest hurricane they've ever had in recorded history, down in like the Yucatan or whatever, and they're saying that it's supposed to be potentially hitting Florida by like next Wednesday.
Well, I'm glad it's moving that way. I'm glad it's moving that way because I'll be in St. Lucia, and if it ruins my holiday, I'll be pissed. Well,
yeah. I heard about it from my mom because she's leaving this weekend on Saturday for a cruise, and she said everyone's all freaking out about it because it's out in the ocean. And I hadn't heard anything about it, so I looked it up, and sure as shit, it's
gonna
down
hit.
there.
It's gonna hit Belize, and then
it'll
be fine.
Yeah, well, I think we will as well, but you know how it is. You know how the media is, but they have it turning and gonna go into Tampa or whatever at next Wednesday.
What?
Let's go!
But that shit'll change. I think this shit'll change 10,000 times.
They say I'm looking at it. Chittumwal is supposed to hit, and then be a tropical. Once it hits that land and over there, hopefully it'll just. I hope so.
That's what we're hoping. So, well, we don't have any specific topic tonight, but the three of us are just going to shoot this shit and throw a bunch of stuff against the wall and see what sticks.
Good.
Our dear friend Casey over here has decided he needs another sports car in his life, and he's been shopping heavily. Casey, how's the shopping going?
I think need is that's a interesting word. But yeah, so after the fair and event and going to PCA, my wife has discovered that, hey, these things are kind of fun, and is now interested in daily driving. And so we're on the look. And
good for her.
It's been fun to see like what she finds attractive in each of these cars, or what she finds as a necessary, option or color or whatever. And I think we've narrowed it down to probably 982 or 981 Cayman. She likes the size, the interior size, which is, as you all know from the event, like pretty close to the 997 interior size. So it feels kind of nice. She wants a big wing, which I think is fun. I can't get one of those stock wings that come on the GT4, but I think we'll definitely put something like that on there for her. And then she'll probably end up doing a wrap in some color that she likes. Do the calipers to match, that sort of thing. So I'm excited. I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be fun for her. She's excited to try the track, and like a real track, not just like autocross that we did at PCA. But I think it'll be fun. She's excited. I'm excited, and we're looking across the country for a nice Cayman.
I'm surprised. Well, I'm not surprised. I'm actually happy that she decided with a Cayman over maybe like a Boxster,
Well, that was a discussion point. And, I've had several Miata, and that's the only car I've ever enjoyed, with the top down. I asked her, I said, if you think that you will drive to work every morning and drive home every evening with the top down, then let's get a Boxster. But if you think you rather just or will be just as happy with just rolling the windows down, then we definitely need to look Cayman, especially if you want to try out the track. So that's kind of where she's headed. We also are entertaining, if there's a deal on a 991, 911, but the price points on those I still think are a bit higher than where we're really looking, unless it's pretty high mileage.
Unless it's beat down.
When was the last time? I don't think the last time. I mean, other than the air cooled, if it has AC, I ain't driving with the top with the windows down. Just because of here in Florida, it's so hot, and the smell of the heat of the asphalt. Yeah, I mean, right now today it was 89 degrees. I mean, what is it in the 50s over there, Casey?
It was today. Yeah.
Yeah, we're still in the 80s, 89.
Yeah, so, at the high. I mean, coming home this afternoon, because when I leave work, especially this time of year, it's dark and it's beautiful. So I rocked the windows down today. But I would love a convertible personally. It's just it would have to be like my sixth car. I mean, it's not something that there's such a short window. Now, Stacy would never go for this. In a million, I mean, tomorrow, I would sell both trikes and get a convertible because it's something. Here's what I like about it: the two of us go out on the trikes, and it's great. It's fun, but it's something we do together. But at the same time, you're together, but you're really kind of by yourself because you're not carrying on a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in a convertible, you're having a conversation and still experiencing outdoor elements. So I'd sell both trikes tomorrow and buy a convertible, but she likes her trike too much. So,
well, I think for us, at least I'll say for me, when I go rip on the back road, I don't care how hot it is. I'll put the windows down because I like hearing the exhaust. I'll just crank the AC up. That's fine. But as soon as I get on to the interstate, windows up, and I want it quiet or quieter. But if I'm ripping in the mountains or even here just on twisties, I'll roll the windows down. So, but again, I just don't like convertibles very much. They're loud. You usually get some creaking, as the chassis flexes, and I don't like that. So I think Cayman's the better choice for us in this scenario. But hell, if she came to me right now and said she wanted a Boxster, I'll do a Boxster, whatever. But I think PDK Cayman is going to be how we end up.
Hey, I want an air cooled, and I'd get an air cooled 911 convertible. I'd have no problem with that.
Well, you get a Targa, and that you have the best of both worlds.
I do want to actually. If I had my choice, I'm weird this way. If I had my choice between a coupe or a Targa, I personally probably would prefer the Targa. I just like the aesthetics of it. I like the look of it. I like the feel of it. So, but I'm that guy that we talk to our friends down your way, Kevin. They all have sunroofs, and they're like, I never open my sunroof. I'm afraid it's going to break. My sunroof opens every time I drive my car.
And it's funny too. You could tell the people from Florida when we were at Farron, for the most part, the people from Florida had their windows up, AC on.
Mm-hmm.
You're driving Casey with the windows down. You want to hear the exhaust. James, same thing. I think maybe James had his windows up, but for the most part, most of the people from Florida were just so used to. Mm-hmm. I mean, the compressor kicks off when you're wide open throttle anyway, so we're so used to wearing just the windows up. And if you want to hear the exhaust, just have a loud exhaust like us, because we don't have smog, so we don't have emissions.
Right.
So that's one thing we don't have to worry about. And I mean, shit, my fab guy, he's doing a exhaust on a brand new turbo 992.2, has 118 miles on it.
Nice.
I love it.
And taking the whole center section out.
Yep.
So Florida,
taking out
I mean, hey,
yeah, it's the Wild West. That's why I love it here, man. We can do whatever we want. We don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
So it's the Wild West. Dude,
so when do you think you may have something? Next month and this coming month?
Yeah, we'll get it by the end of the year, likely.
Okay.
We're looking across the country, but having said that, we don't have time before the end of the year to take a couple days off and drive home. So I'm looking. I found several really nice CPO units. And so if we do CPO, I'll just have them ship it into local Euro Classic and have it go through, kind of come in there. But I mean, usually the two cars we bought out in California, which I love doing, we take 4 or 5 days to drive back and drive a different route each time, and it's a blast. Unfortunately, we just don't have time to do that right now.
Yeah.
So
now, is this addition to the Cayenne, or is the Cayenne going away?
Yes, Kevin, we're keeping the Cayenne. So she dailies the Cayenne diesel, which is a fantastic Cayenne. But we'll keep that. And she'll just double park herself in the driveway so she can choose whatever she wants to drive.
There you go.
And I'll keep rocking, my Cayenne to drive to and from work. So
I've already asked Casey like 3 times.
Yeah. Are you
selling a Cayenne? You selling a Cayenne? Because I'm looking for a Cayenne diesel. And there's one here at a local dealership, but they want about $8,000 more than what the market is asking.
Wow.
So,
is it super clean? Why are they offering just
because they can? Dealership.
Yeah.
No, they're not going to get it. I mean,
no.
So it's at our local dealership that my car's at, and they gave me my sales guy, who's a friend of mine too. He gave me a Cayenne, so I'm driving a Cayenne, the V6 turbo one, which, quite frankly, is a piece of shit in my opinion. It's got 6,000 miles on it. Yeah, it's got rattle on this front speaker. It sounds like there's a noise, like a wind noise in the back all the time. At least that's what my wife says.
Oh, wow.
The little things that kind of annoy me, like the push start button on my car. I'm just so used to like my Toyota. Anything that's push start is like boom. On a Cayenne, you have to hold it, and then they're so quiet these days too. You don't know if it's on and off. Mm-hmm. So I have to hold it and then let go, and then like to turn it off, hold it to turn it off. Just put a damn key on the damn thing at that point. I mean, I'm so used to like in a Mercedes or in my Toyota, it's like boom. I mean, you just barely touch it and it turns right on. And then the buttons. So on the new ones, all the dash stuff, like it's on for your heated seats, for your AC seats, the whole panel, when you push like one button, the whole panel moves, which is just weird. Yeah, I would think that it would just be that one button, but the whole panel does that. And I thought it was broken, but it's not. And they said that's how it's supposed to be. Plus, when we went to PEC, the whole side of the panel, where the glove box is, had all those cameras and all that stuff on there.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, mine's just a base model, so it didn't have it on it. So I was turning all these knobs, putting it in like mud drive, and I'm like, "Where's these cameras at?" None of it there because it's not an S, it's just a base cam. Still, $95,000 is. There's no way in hell I'd pay $95,000 for that car. Not for the. I mean, it's got one big turbo, so definitely turbo lag. Yeah. I mean, it does get up and go, but definitely some turbo lag. So if I'm going to have turbo lag, I might as well just get the diesel, get the good gas mileage. Mm-hmm. I like the color. It's kind of a bluish, like a chalk blue kind of, like dark. Okay. I don't even know. I'm sure everybody would know what color it is, but they don't offer it on 911. A lot of people don't like the color, but I don't know. Aaron looks good driving it. I don't, but I've been driving a 4Runner, so
yeah.
I really love the Cayennes, and the new ones that we rode in, when they're all decked out like that. I mean, that's a hell of a vehicle. But what are those? $170,000?
Oh, they're stupid money.
They're wild. And of course they'll come down, and I'll be able to afford it when it's $40,000, and it'll be awesome. But I had a loaner Macan S, and I think that's what James has as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But coming from the Cayenne to a Macan, it's night
makes you feel difference. Like an Ford Escape, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Small, yeah.
And it's a great vehicle, and I get why they sell them like hotcakes, right? But when you're going from what I'll just say top of the line offering that the Cayenne is, and then you get into a Macan, it really does feel like a different company vehicle. I mean, it's like Toyota.
It's a Volkswagen.
Yeah. And it just feels different. And I hate the exhaust note in the Macan, the new Macan S. It's
a 4-cylinder.
It's 4-cylinder. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And it's just like this low, like.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get that. Interesting.
So when you buy a used vehicle, you just go top of the line. Like get the best, all the bells and whistles, because somebody else has already depreciated on it. Usually they don't cost that much different than, say, the Cayenne S used at whatever I'm buying, 4 or 5 years old, Cayenne S used versus turbo. There's not that much difference in price. Mm-hmm. And then, when you get the turbo, you get all the options. And
so if Ashley is listening to this, that means 911 GT3.
That we know the 911 does not follow that
or
that
GT4. She's a Cayman, so GT4.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Listen, I looked up a few of them, and of course their entry level price is double what we're spending. So it's wild how much better they hold their value than the an S.
Yeah. Well, you got a couple of things there. You got limited production as well as the panache of having a GT car. So that's why that is. Speaking of big motors and Miatas, I love what Casey threw up in the group chat. Let me share this real quick. So SEMA, the clusterfuck that it is, always has crazy stuff there. And so there was a V-twin swapped Miata, supposedly, and that had it was a Lambo motor. And then it comes to find out that it's not a Lambo motor; it's an LS motor from Chevy that's just got like the Lambo intake glued to the top.
Unbelievable.
But they were trying to pawn it off on it as a V10 Lambo swapped Miata. So yes,
as if just looking at that is not ridiculous enough. Like, okay, be impressed with just that, as wild as that is. I don't know why you want to step out even further. And
you could have just said it was a LS swap with a Lambo,
right?
Yeah, intake.
Or just exactly. Admit exactly what it is from the jump.
Yeah, exactly. I don't understand why they needed to strap unless they were just trying to be shock value.
I think where the problem was is he was telling everybody it was a Lambo, and then he finally, when he got called out, came out and said no, it was not. So I think at first he was saying that it was a Lambo swap, or if people were asking, he was not admitting what it was. Yes, right. He was just kind of letting it kind of like go. I mean, we know somebody like that has a car, and I'm not going to name any names, and they call it what it is, and then they go, he doesn't even say anything. So, and they, okay, yeah. Some of the other cars I've seen, let's face it, SEMA these days is nothing but a car show.
For YouTube builds.
Yep. So,
yeah, that's all it is. But here's the thing. I mean, for what it cost him, I mean, granted, I'm sure sourcing a Lambo V-twin is going to be a different price point than getting a crate engine for a LS motor or from junkyard. But 10 years ago, they took a Scion FRS like I used to have, and one of the guys put a Ferrari engine in it, and it was legit. I mean, they had no hood on it, and it worked, and they drove it. And I mean, if you're going to do it, do it. Don't try to pretend.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I don't know if we talked about it in the group or what, but there were a couple of cars that were there that were strictly like they were just engines dropped in, but nothing connected. You know, unfinished projects. And I think that unless you're out there and you're showcasing bodywork, that's one thing, and I'm sure you can do that, right? Like that is one of the scenes is just crazy bodywork. That's fine. But if you're coming in and you're proclaiming this is a functioning vehicle, or this is all that we can do, and you have this, and then you lift up the hood and there's no coolant lines, no electrical wires, the turbos are not plumbed or whatever. I think that's just, I mean, let's be honest, we can go out into our garages and fab up some LS mounts into something and strap a couple wild turbos, 4 foot out the hood, and look what we can do. But it doesn't run. So
we got to put the exhaust pipes, the 5-foot exhaust pipes off the back like the Japanese do or whatever,
There you go.
I mean, some of the cars that I did see, like that I've seen on the internet, and this is maybe we can use this as our thumbnail, but the 240 all carbon fiber. I don't know if you guys saw that. That was super clean. I think it had an LS swap in it. Very nice car. And then I know this was not a SEMA build, but there's been a lot of heat on that RWB with gluing in the front tow hook.
Yeah.
That finally, one guy had to come out and say, oh, it's because he was doing a photo shoot and they glued on because the air tank is in front there in the front trunk, which quite frankly, if I was that builder, if I was whatever his name is, Nakai, I would have not even let somebody take a picture of me doing that, because I think it's done a lot of damage to his image. That he's already gets a lot of slack for cutting. Me and my fabricator were talking about that today in the car, or yesterday. The front fenders is one thing because those are just bolt on to cut those, but to cut the rear fenders up, and then he throws some tape. And I know he's very quick, and he's been doing it for such a long time. And one can argue the same thing about old hot rods. I mean, I think it's a Porsche, but hey, there's some old cars that people are doing the exact same thing at the Detroit Autorama. They're taking these and they're making them pro mods, or what are they called? I forgot what's this called. something mod, it will come to my head.
Like a
But
rat rod or
no, when you take a car and you basically make it all fresh and new and put an LS motor in it and put all a new interior.
Like a Pro Touring build or whatever?
Yeah, there you go. Retro mod. So, in some of these cars, especially like a Zephyr, people do that too. No, and I come from that scene. You don't hear the shit talking because I think people look at it as I don't think that's the one. That's not the one I was talking about.
No,
this is the one Casey just sent.
Okay, yeah, that's not the one I was talking about. The other one it looks like an OEM. It's not. That's an old 240. This is maybe a 280 then. Maybe it's a 280 Nissan. I think that people look at it. I mean, Chip Foose, he's notorious for doing that and taking a rare car and making it because they know maybe it's because they're putting a lot of metal work into it opposed to just taking a Sawzall and throwing a body kit. True. So that's probably why. I used to be a big fan, and I was talking to my friend Wesley about buying his 993 a long time ago and doing a RWB kit on it. But now that I've owned Porsches and stuff and I see what they are, and I've seen quite a few of them, I see a lot of them that the body kit's done, but it's just a stock motor. It's just a
they splurged all on the kit and
on the body paint
nothing
and
left.
the wheels.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And no headliner. Excuse me, roll cage, and stuff like that. So
it's like a half-done project at that point because the whole RWB thing was to emulate the race cars, right?
Yeah, and let's face it, when they first came out, they were true race cars. You could take them to the track. These days, I think it's more of a flex. So some of the things that I was impressed with was there's the RWB with the tow hook on it. Some of the things that I was impressed with is the new Toyota that has it's the Surf edition, and it looks like the old 1980s. It's a 4Runner. It is a prototype, but the back comes off, kind of like the old ones did. That was pretty neat that I saw. I'm actually surprised I see the Cybertruck there, but I'm actually surprised I didn't see a lot of stuff. Maybe people are so tired of looking at Cybertrucks. So, but again, like look, for instance, the Wild Customs. If you keep on scrolling down there, of that Chevelle, that black Chevelle. I mean, that's an awesome car, but is it that people don't bitch and complain because there's so many of those? Let's face it, there's a lot of 964s too. I mean, not quite as many as a Chevelle, but
the sad thing is I really do like the look of these RWBs. I just, now knowing the way that they're just slapped together, I would never in a million years have one.
Yeah. And I think I'm the same way, Matt. I love the wide body race car look. But now, at least when I see one, I'm thinking of, as Kevin said, is this an early one or a recent one?
Right.
Because these recent ones, the more video they show of them is just, quite frankly, I don't think it's done well. So
no, I mean, I understand. Listen, when you're putting on a wide body kit, there's no way to put on those fenders unless you cut the fender. I get that. I'm not naive enough to know that they have to cut the fender. I get that, but I don't know, man. The idea of putting it together and making the seal with just black silicone and there's just a lot of corner cutting there, in my opinion, that it's
and
not
how long is that
trade-off.
car going to last? Because everyone that I see that drives them, you never see them at the track.
No,
you see them at Cars and Coffees or in a booth. I never see them at a rally. Not to say that, and hey, don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's people comment on YouTube that somebody drives theirs and stuff like that, but for the most part, they're just show cars. And yeah, the guy's an artist. I'm not going to take that away from him. But I do remember when it used to be, Nakai used to be there for a week or 2 weeks doing a car. I mean, now he's in and out, and it's all about a watch party. And when I wanted to do mine, it was literally going to be one of those, I'm literally just going to say, here's the car, here's your pack of cigarettes.
Yeah.
Tell me when it's done. It'll be almost the ultimate, like, F you for all the fanboys. Yeah, I don't give a shit. And any of you guys who know me, that is totally my personality. Like, yeah, okay, just tell me when it's done and I'll drive it. I'm not a big, and it's funny because like my 991 had, Apple livery on it. It's not like I don't like show
Flash.
and wow and
Flashy.
stuff. Right. Flash. I mean, I definitely do, but I don't need to have everybody's like attention at a party and stuff like that. So
I do. I'm an attention whore, but that's just me. Yes.
I mean, I do like attention. I mean, hey, look at my cars.
Well, my thing is that on those builds, I haven't driven one. I haven't even spoken to one who's driven one. But just the geometry and the ergonomics of it, it has to drive like shit. When you put those like big ass wheels in the back and everything, I mean, it can't handle for shit. I mean, the whole point of Porsche is to be as a car that can handle. It's going to be. I'm sure it's great in a straight line. The second you try to take a corner, I mean, it's going to handle like shit.
But they're 200 something, and that's the thing too. Everybody, like Casey said, what do? They just do all the body kit. You lift up the motor. It's a stock motor, no balls in it. It's got a loud exhaust.
Right.
I mean, a lot of them have air ride on them. I love the look, and I went to Players car show in England, and it was cool, but it wasn't cool. Like to see these cars with rotoforms and just slammed, like a 911 is slammed on its nuts. But then again, for me, Porsche it's already not the fastest car. We know that. Like, it's not going to be. There's so many cars that would beat a Porsche out. But it's meant. The only thing that we have for us is that, I guess, racing legacy because of handling. Because it ain't because of speed. It's strictly because of handling. Same thing with the Miata. The Miata, let's face it, it's a chick car that everyone says, but it handles, and if you go, it will outrun a SRT, whatever, 8s all day long, Mustangs, because of the handling. So when you take away the handling, now it's just, I don't know. And I was just talking to somebody else about going to SEMA, a guy that builds Porsches, and he's like, yeah, every time I go, I just straight to the back of the area looking for vendors, not dealing with the mainstream stuff. It's just looking for vendors to, what can I do to help my business and stuff. So, and you have to have a game plan with a show that big. You have to. I mean, it's by the time
I still want to go. I've never been. So just to see the spectacle of it, it would be fun to go in attendance. Not just to say you've been.
This is the first year I probably could have gone. Usually I'm always at like some event or World Cup, which is a drag, like a Honda drag event. We used to sponsor a drag car. And it's always the same time, and people would race and hop on the airplane and stuff like that. Or, it's driving weather. So it's always like, okay, but one of these days I'll go. I used to go to the Riddler.
You're in the industry, so you can go. I mean, luckily because of the podcast,
you guys all
here,
can go. You just,
and we got invited. I mean, I applied and got the press pass. Just to see if I would get approved, knowing that I wasn't going to be able to fit in my schedule. But I just wanted to see if we could get approved with, I'm proud of our podcast and I'm proud of what we do. And I wanted to see if the credentials of what we do would get us into those things. And now there's been 2 press events that we've been accepted to based on what we do. So I think that's kind of cool. For 4 guys that do nothing but shoot the shit once a week, I think that's fun, so.
Well, let us know when you can get Amelia tickets. Maybe I'll go to that. Because this year I was like, I don't know if I'm going to go this year. I always say that, but they're getting pretty strict with that, with those press passes.
That's actually a good idea. I never even thought about that. The shit that we actually do go to, I never thought about it. Well, while we were talking about SEMA, and we were talking about cool builds, I've actually had this say for a couple weeks, and I haven't had time. We've been going so long-winded, we haven't been able to share it. I stumbled across this. I think it's badass. I'm going to show it to you guys right now. And I really, really wish it was available here, and it's not. But this is the brand new Volkswagen California, and it's a new version of Volkswagen's camper van.
And so it's called the California, but we can't get it?
Exactly. It's called the California, but it's
nice.
EU only. It's not even available in the United States.
So will they do the same thing with this that they've just done with the other van, the flat nose van? that where they launched it in Europe a year or two before, and now it's launching.
I
there?
don't think so. I mean, I don't know. I wish that this would be the case. Here's the problem. Europeans love these little camper vans, and I think they're badass.
They go caravanning all the time.
Right, they go caravanning and all that. I just don't know that Americans would buy this, but I think it's fucking awesome. And what I love about it is it's not an EV.
Why wouldn't they buy that? I mean, look at a Honda Odyssey or a Honda or a Toyota, you know. So that is basically replacing the Eurovan. It looks like kind of a Eurovan, which was not. And I think the reason why they did that is because it was not a hot seller back in the early 2090s, but times have changed. This is what we do now. Everybody goes and, I mean, look at the overlanding market now. I have a van that's, you know, I go to races. I would love to have something like this.
I would daily one of these. I would drive this every freaking day. I think this thing is the coolest thing
ever.
Look
at that. That's awesome.
Dude, it is so cool, man. And it's like, why don't they offer this? Yes.
Matt, I think, again, I'm looking at the VW website of the ID Buzz, which is the electric. This California might be an ICE version of this ID Buzz.
It might be. So this is offered. So right now, it's going to be a 2025. This is it's starting off in 2024. It's going to come with 2 engines. It's got a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder diesel.
We never get those.
We'll never get that. 148 horsepower, 266 foot-pounds of torque, and then a 2-liter turbocharged gas engine. Of course, it's European, so it's petrol. Producing 201 horsepower and 236 foot-pound of torque. Got a 7-speed dual clutch automatic transmission, which I think is awesome. They're putting in a dual clutch instead of standard automatic.
Which means it won't tow anything.
Exactly.
But the diesel will.
Yep, exactly. It says the California is a front-engine, front-wheel drive, but a plug-in hybrid powertrain is going to be available that will drive all 4 wheels down the line.
Interesting.
And then what's the MSRP? And that's the other thing that maybe they're looking at. I mean, even back in the day, the Eurovan was very expensive for a minivan because it was and even to this day, they're $20,000, $30,000. Well, they're probably $30,000, $40,000 now.
Did this not?
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I think it's.
I think it's freaking awesome, dude. I went down this whole rabbit trail a couple weeks ago of cars that I thought were freaking amazing that weren't available in the United States, and this was one of them. And I just thought it was freaking awesome. The article I printed out does not give an MSRP, but I'm sure I can find one here.
I mean, look how many Mercedes Sprinter vans they sell. You know, they may also be looking at, hey, they just got rid of the Mercedes, the smaller version, the Metra, I think. They're not making that anymore. So, you know, I know a lot of times they think they know what the consumer wants, but who knows? You know, they probably do like I do. They forecast and they look at numbers and they say, okay, it's not going to be worth it, especially with the diesel.
Base price is going to be €77,000, which is about 83 grand.
Okay,
for the Beach Tour Light. A fully loaded, complete California camper van with side kitchen and everything will be about 88 grand.
So that's why they probably not going to bring that, because for that kind of money, hell, you could buy a truck and a smaller camper.
Yeah. But I still think it's fucking amazing. It's freaking cool. So anyway,
go back to that interior. Oh, never mind.
Oh, no, here, that's fine. I'll go back. So the interior. So yeah, so it's got
do the front dash.
Oh, the front dash. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, that's a fully loaded one.
Yep.
Yeah. So the interior is different than the ID Buzz. So perhaps it's not just the ICE version, but
yeah,
I don't know. The Buzz is like $60-some thousand as well for the all electric bus. And so, you know, Doug DeMuro put out a video on it. So that's where some of this info I'm getting comes from. But I agree with him that it's going to be the electric version will be definitely like a look at me, a lifestyle sort of purchase. And this van looks to be probably the same type of purchase, same type of person, except maybe a little more outdoorsy. And I just wonder, outside of California, who the hell spends that much money on a van?
Well, so here's the thing, though. So, all right, I'm 50, or going to be 50 next year. Stacey and I keep talking about we want to travel more. When you start pricing like Class A or Class C, like campers and everything, dude, they're expensive as fuck.
But you can buy a Sprinter van with the same thing for $100,000. What's $10,000 when you got that?
Well,
and it's a Sprinter van, and it's got 280 something horsepower, and it's full wheel drive.
You're right.
This is front wheel drive. So the Sprinter van is bigger. It just does more. There's an aftermarket already on it. I think people would do a Sprinter van. Even I don't think they make the Dodge Ram one that was front wheel drive, and that
but they do the Ford Transit. You can get the Ford Transit chassis,
and now the Ford Transit they got smart, and now they build a package for overlay, more kind of like camping. Which before, when I got mine in 2000, I had to do all my own work and stuff. There was a lot of aftermarket companies. Unfortunately, even then, if you go to California, there's nothing but Mercedes Sprinters, and everyone said, "Oh, I like your Sprinter." When we go to, we're like, "Oh, it's not a Sprinter; it's a Ford."
Right.
So I have to agree with Casey. Now that I think about it, and we've kind of mulled this over, it's probably not a good choice for America, just because of the price point. And
I'm sure they know that. That's why they're not selling it. But it's cool, in my opinion. What else do we want to talk about tonight?
I will say one thing. 9. Right?
Oh, very nice.
I love this watch. I really need a 007 though. That's what I've decided. That's going to be my next one.
It's funny that you say that. Is that the one made in Japan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I go on Facebook Marketplace and stuff like that, and I see these watches, and I keep on looking, and I'm like, nobody ever says, oh, Seiko SK00, or they just say
SKX.
Pepsi. SKX, Pepsi. And they zoom in on the pictures, and I said, can you send me a picture of the face?
Made in Malaysia.
But then I look in the back, because they always show the back with the made in Malaysia, made in Malaysia. Yeah. And I too have been looking for one made in Japan, so I can probably give my Malaysia one to a friend of mine that he's now collecting Seikos as well.
I mean, technically, our Malaysian ones still are 007s. They're just made in Malaysia, not Japan.
Yeah. So, I don't know. One thing about watches, I have gone down the rabbit hole, is I'm going to put a dual stopwatch in my 85 Carrera.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Are you going to get classic?
You and I talked about that.
Are you going to get classic ones?
So, yes, because Tag or Heuer does not even make stopwatches anymore. So I purchased 2 of them. There's one guy making the clamps. I'll make my own plate.
I think that's really cool.
I like it.
So I've gone that whole rabbit hole, and I mean, it's crazy how different models cost more money than others. And there's a lot of other cool watches other than, Heuer, that a lot of Swiss, German watches. There's English ones that have racing provenance as well. But I just think, well, for Porsche, Tag Heuer with the, not Tag, Heuer, they sponsored a lot of Porsche stuff. So, yeah, I'm just waiting for them to come in so we can talk about that next.
Awesome. That's awesome.
That's freaking awesome.
So
I'm really glad you did that.
I wonder how it worked, though, if you're driving to reach over and hit those buttons, because it is quite far away. I think it's more of a rally, like if you have somebody in your and I've only seen one other guy at the Porsche Platz in Rolex. He has one, and everybody was saying, oh, man, I like this thing. So I think it would be pretty neat.
Even if you never use them, dude, just the look is going to be freaking awesome.
Yeah. So I'm just waiting for that. I've been working on a deck lid plates for the Carrera or for the.
I'm wearing a watch I never wear, hardly ever. I got my little white and blue Bulova tonight.
Nice.
I never wear the watch.
And you guys saw that Timex came out with the Snoopy watch now. That
well,
looks
and
like
I had
a
that on my list. Freaking Snoopy, that damn little whore. I mean, I don't know who has.
This is Schultz family.
Oh, I didn't know if it was still privately owned, if it was still part of the Schultz family, but dude, they whore that little dude out to anybody who's willing to pay cash for it. I mean, everybody.
That thing looks just like a Panda.
It does.
I mean, but it's a Timex.
Matter of fact, I looked up today. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Like Snoopy watches and how many brands, and it was insane how many brands have used the Snoopy or used Snoopy for. It was Where does
Well,
it
it's
go?
no different than Mickey Mouse. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
He's the original
you had Timex, you had Swatch, you had Omega, you had
Armatron.
Yeah, there was brands that I never even had heard of before. So, but there is a long history with Timex and Snoopy. I mean, they had Timex watches back in the 60s that Snoopy on it. So there is a history there. So it's not like something new. But yeah,
did you guys? I didn't even click on it. I just saw it and I was like, "Whore!" And then, what? You know what the price point was on that watch?
I just sent it.
Oh, did you?
Okay,
it's $209.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, not bad. I still haven't got my case yet. I'm still waiting for it to tear mine apart.
Oh, the moon case.
And it's funny. I just went to the mall this weekend with a friend of mine. With Devin and them, and he bought a Snoopy watch. And now the Snoopy watches, we walked into and they had however many they want. Plus now they have the 3 new lines of the Earth Mission to Earth colors. So
this is. You all know how I feel about the Snoopy watches, so I won't belabor that point.
Your love of Snoopy?
But looking on the Timex website, they have 72 different watches.
Yeah, they've used Snoopy for a very long time. I think not quite as long as Omega, but almost as long as Omega. And I know we've talked about this before. So there's a guy on YouTube. He's a big watch guy. He's named Nico Leonard. And he's almost up there with Teddy Balbazar, right? What's that?
He's British.
Yes, British, right. And every year he does his review of watch brands. And it's really funny. It's more comical than anything else, but he's got everything from God tier to, just total garbage. And then one of them, he even puts Hublot as one of the categories because Hublot's trash to him. And he always puts Timex as like would buy or like God tier. It's always at the top. Timex, Casio, Seiko, Swatch, they're always at the top. And then other stuff that you would think would be at the top is totally down, garbage, whatever. So and this is a guy that drives Ferraris and has all kind of crazy stuff. And he owns Pride and Pinion, which Pride and Pinion is a trading site similar to Hodinkee, secondhand, but across the pond. And so definitely knows his shit about watches, and he always puts them towards the top. So
is he basing it on the accuracy of the time, the robust of the watch? Because I would agree with him as far as those names, Timex, Swatch.
Right.
I mean, they're good watches for the function of what it is, and all those watches that you talked about, they're all quartz watch anyways. Swatch just came out with a new line now. When we were over there, they came out with the automatic series, so it's $300, $350, I think. They look pretty nice. I remember having a Swatch when I was a kid, and I mean, the one watch that I still wear, quite frankly, a lot, even though my employees clown me, is that Shark watch because, hey, I can just look at it. I don't have to, and I'm not afraid. Like today I wore the, what is this? Regatta, 69 Regatta. But I'm so afraid. I had to go to the dentist today, so I wore, matching jeans. And the guys were like, why are you dressed up? I'm like, I'm wearing freaking jeans and
T-shirt.
Yeah, T-shirt. But yeah, this is like something that I typically don't want to. I wouldn't wear getting on the floor or around machines or anything like that. So,
to answer your question, so he doesn't really go into detail on why he rates them the way they do. Other than I know that he puts a lot of fat into how the companies run, how you build quality, things of that nature. There's one, and I got to research this because I don't know, but evidently he alluded to one watch brand. I guess the CEO of that particular brand has been brought up on charges for like maybe he alluded to maybe it being like child molestation or something horrible. He didn't really say what it was. So I think the most horrible thing would be that. Didn't name a name, didn't even name the watch brand, but just said he wouldn't even speak of them because that brand now is dead to him because to have a CEO that would do that. So he does put a lot of different thoughts into why he rates things the way he rates them.
Okay.
So Snoopy was definitely on my list of things to talk about, but that is gone. One thing I did want to talk about, I want to ask Casey this, not knowing anything about bourbon. Okay. on all of my social media feeds, all of them, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, there's a company out there that's doing this marketing campaign. I'd never heard of it. Bibbin Tucker.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
Bibbin Tucker's got whoever's in there, they're spending some cash. They're lighting cash on fire for marketing right now. Mm-hmm. So, which means either they're just trying to get stuff done at the end of the year, or it's decent, it's garbage.
Casey, this shit's gonna be like freaking Buffalo Trace. Right. It's awesome. I like it. What do you think, Casey?
They're 6 years. Listen, I don't know anything about bourbon, and I can tell you it's a 6-year batch because it's on every fucking commercial. Everything.
So it's a Tennessee whiskey. It's charcoal filtered. I have both their 6 and their 12-year on the shelf. I think
the 6 good. Does taste better than the 12.
No, I like
because I have both. You do like okay. I like the 6.
But there you go. They're both really good bottles. The 6-year you can find everywhere. The 12-year I've never seen except the one time I purchased it, which was on one of our road trips somewhere. But it's really good stuff. It's got all the classic bourbon stuff. So it's a good bottle. It's not expensive. I want to say $40
right now because after this marketing shit, everyone's gonna be looking for it.
I think it's more than that now.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm just pulled up their website. They've got the classic 6. They got a double char.
Yeah, $40. Okay, $45. Yeah.
There you go. They've got a 10-year. Looks like they have out, and then the 12-year.
Maybe that's what I tried. Is the 10-year.
Okay, I have not tried the 10. So I think it's good stuff. It's a good bottle that you can have on your shelf that a lot of people don't know about yet. And the bottle's kind of got some raised glass, texture to it. So it's kind of a cool bottle.
It is a cool bottle. I was just talking to my wife about that. Because I just finished it, and I was like, I think I'm going to keep this bottle because it just has, so many times it's just a bottle or, that it has a label on it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It does look old. For them to raise that bottle opposed to just taking a bottle and throwing a sticker on it.
Yeah.
Even though we do know, everybody does have their own signature silhouette, like Jack Daniels and stuff like that. But a lot of whiskeys, we'll look at a lot of the blends now. They're just straight bottles, or they look like wine bottles or something.
So, right. So the wine bottle is always the cheapest, and that's, a couple dollars a bottle. Then you have something like Blue Run. That typically runs about $120. And Blue Run's bottle probably costs them $40. And so you have a bottle with Bibbin Tucker that's a generic bottle, but then they've done the additional work to make that glass, the raised portion, and it's amber rather than just clear. Excuse me. So I think it's a good bottle to have around. You can pour it. It's age stated, which a lot of the stuff in that $40 price range isn't age stated. And so I think it's a good pickup.
That's the bottle there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this is definitely, this, in my opinion, is one of those, I don't want to say everyday drinker, but
yeah, that's what it is.
If you want, it would be an everyday drinker. And this kind of, if I'm drinking bourbon, if it ain't Buffalo Trace, it's Bibbin Tucker. And hopefully you'll see it a lot more if they're doing a good campaign, more at bars, or, eateries, chains and stuff like that, because I do think that's it's pretty good. My friend turned me on to this, and actually I need to talk to him about coming. He's just like you, Casey. He has a lot of bourbons, which I was trying to count all your bourbons. I stopped at over 200. I was counting all the tops, and then Ashley said, "Oh, the bottom shelf is 7 deep," and I was like, "Oh, okay, well it's well over 200." So, I don't know if you saw the picture, Matt, but she alphabetized, and I don't even know how she even did that because she would have to put. Were you helping her, or she would have to look and be?
Yeah, I was doing yard work, and I came in and she told me, and I was like, "Oh, well, this is nice. I like this."
Wow, that's impressive. On these ads for Bibbin Tucker, I don't know if it is him, but if it's not, the guy doing the ad read sounds like Sam Elliott with that deep voice, and big mustache Sam Elliott, and it's just they get you. So
Well, you should go get a bottle and try some.
I wouldn't like that shit. There's no way.
I don't know, man.
I don't know, man. If I was
stuff.
going to buy it, Bibbin Tucker's what I'd buy because the commercials.
The marketing, the marketing has worked.
The marketing got me. That was all I had for tonight. I think. Yeah, that was all I had for tonight. You guys got anything else you want to talk about before we cut it a night? Call it a night.
I don't know. Did I send anything else interesting?
I don't think so.
No.
All right. Well, on that note, we will cut a few minutes early and we will go home. Well, actually, I'm already home. Kevin's going to go home. He's in his shop.
Let's go.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening. Check us out. Instagram, website. Kevin updated our website today, so it's good to go. Shoot us an email. Contact at whiskeyWatchesWheels.com. No, whiskeyWatchesWheels.com. Yes. Yeah.
That thing.
Wait, I'll cut that out. So
it's updated every Wednesday. I update it every Wednesday.
He does. He goes on websites every Wednesday because our just for a little bit inside baseball, we record on Wednesdays, and our what we record today will drop next Wednesday. So we always are a week out. So he updates it every Wednesday, and yeah. So contact whiskeyWatchesWheels.com. Let us know what you want to hear, and we will catch you guys later. All right. Peace out.
Later.